Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Thank you so much for joining us for another segment of Health Professional Radio. For 150 years, dentists have used amalgam fillings to fill and repair cavity-stricken teeth. But a newly released study indicates that those fillings, which contain 50% mercury, may slowly be poisoning the people that they were designed to help. Dr. Mark Geier and Mr. David Geier are joining us here as authors of a new study that evaluates mercury vapor safety limits. They're going to talk this morning and offer some solutions for those concerned about the safety of their dental fillings. Welcome to Health Professional Radio, both Dr. Geier and David Geier. Thank you both.
Hello. Thank you.
Mark, if you give us a brief look into your professional background, and then David, if you do the same.
I'm an MD, PhD. I've worked at the National Institutes of Health, with Johns Hopkins University, and in private practice for many, many years. And I've published 220 or so peer-reviewed studies.
For David Geier, I've done extensive research at studying amalgam safety, as well as epidemiological studies looking at various environmental toxins. Graduate of UMBC, and have done graduate studies at the National Institutes of Health and at George Washington University, and have published close to 200 studies in academic journals around the world.
Doctor, tell us a bit about your research. You mentioned that you were involved in research, and what some of your findings were concerning these fillings.
We actually published 3 peer-reviewed studies. The first one looked at, and these are from a government database, looked at how many people actually have amalgam or silver fillings or mercury fillings. And it turns out that about 58% of adults have one or more amalgam fillings. This puts them over 10% are over the U.S. safety limits. FDA agrees that these are bad and that it's bad to have high mercury levels, but the question is, if they cause harm, what do they cause harm? So our other 2 studies using the same database looked at to see if there are any associations with how much mercury fillings you have and diseases. And we found for the first time specific diseases that are related to these amalgam fillings. The diseases are asthma, which is raised 4-fold if you have dental amalgams, and the more amalgams you have, the worse it is. And we also found arthritis, which is raised 5-fold if you have amalgam fillings. So these are both major diseases of adulthood. It takes a while for them to develop because the fillings are not the only source of mercury, and the mercury that you get stays. So you get the mercury from your fillings, and then you start eating fish and you get mercury, and there are other sources of mercury. So as you get older, you start appearing with these diseases, and these diseases are devastating to the people as well as for the cost to the society. The total estimated cost for arthritis is $280 million a year for new cases, and the total cost for asthma is $48 million per new case.
Wow.
The big problem is, even knowing this, there's so many amalgam fillings that it's very difficult to remove them all.
Well, David, why did dentists start using mercury in the first place? And based on what we know now, why are they still using it?
Mercury has been used in amalgam fillings as a historical material. It goes back, as you mentioned in the introduction, 150 years. It was a material that was easy to work with, cheap, readily available. But unfortunately, as science has advanced, obviously, in the last 150 years, we've learned more and more that mercury is not a safe, innocuous material. Unfortunately, the mercury in the amalgam fillings releases mercury vapor. Dr. Geier mentioned the amount that's coming off exceeds safety limits. Even a single filling for an average adult will result in a person having a mercury dose in excess of government safety limits. So this is really a significant source. It's continuous, and basically every day, every breath that you take with an amalgam filling results in high levels of mercury exposure.
What are some of the symptoms that one should be on the lookout for, Doctor?
Well, at first there are no symptoms, and some people probably have no symptoms, but those who are susceptible, as we said, will start at a higher rate than otherwise developing asthma or arthritis. And these are 2 very prevalent diseases of adulthood, and they're very hard to treat.
Well, are there symptoms that suggest that it's directly related to amalgam toxicity or mercury toxicity, as opposed to someone who has both of these conditions that don't have any of these substances in their body at all, other than, the eating of fish and things of that nature?
These are the kind of symptoms that you'll begin to see, and there can be other ones as well, neurological symptoms, autoimmune, more general symptoms. It's basically what amalgams do is they make you increasingly have ill health, especially over time periods. And that's really what the safety limits are saying, that people are at risk of significant chronic disease. As Dr. Geier mentioned, it's something that is not acute. It's not an amalgam filling is placed and you immediately become sick. These symptoms silently kind of emerge over years and decades, and people become increasingly severely ill from them.
Can we reverse some of the symptoms or the progression at all with removal or replacement of the toxic fillings, doctor?
Well, there are, numerous treatments now for asthma and arthritis, and they're all difficult. They're all involving administration of the immune system, which causes you to be susceptible to all sorts of things that you see on the television ads. Removal will at least stop you from accumulating more and more mercury, but it's very tricky. It's very easy to drill out an amalgam filling and spray the mercury down your throat and all over the room and all over everybody. And so it has to be done very, very carefully. And it'll never be done on all the people. There's just too many people. But those who react poorly to it and show these symptoms might consider having that done.
Where can listeners go and get more information about the toxicity, about your research, and possible options for removal or replacement?
There's a organization, the Preventable Dental Health Organization, that has a website that has information on this kind of research. Their website is thepdha.org, and there's a group of dental professionals called the IOMT who engage in safe mercury amalgam removal techniques or SMART techniques. You can go to their website, which is IAOMT.org, and actually search and find a provider who can safely remove the amalgam fillings.
Dr. Geier, David Geier, I appreciate both of you joining us here on Health Professional Radio and giving us this information. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard, in conversation with Dr. Mark Geier and Mr. David Geier. Audio copies of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au. You can also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, listen in, download at SoundCloud, and be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com Health Professional Radio.